Okay, how's everyone doing today? And for those who don't know me, my name is Lynn. I'm a HR generalist and I work on the benefits team. Today we're going to talk about EyeMed vision insurance. The first Thursday of every month, we're going to highlight a benefit each time. The next one we're going to do is April 2nd, and we're going to do Scenic and our out-of-area providers as well. So you can put that on your calendar. I have handouts today, but all of this information is on our benefits website. And there's cards in the back that has a benefits website, but anything that we talk about here today is also on the website, so you can access that from home. So if you have questions, you can go back to that as well. So now I'd like to introduce Marcy Gentry. She's from GBS, and she's going to be the one doing the presentation today.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Just telling Lynn it's like a total Friday the 13th so far for me today, so hopefully this will go off without any glitches. We'll try to make it as helpful to each one of you as far as how to use your optical benefits, how they're designed, and really how to maximize those benefits each year. So EyeMed is your vision plan. It's really to benefit those employees or employees' families that have optical needs, such as wearing contacts or glasses. If you're somebody who has perfect eyesight, you don't wear those at this point, maybe you don't have family members that do, this is really not a benefit you need to be signing up for, because it truly pays for the hardware. That's where the benefit comes in, is paying for those hardware items. You do have an eye exam benefit baked inside of this plan, but I do want to remind you before I go into the detail of how this works, is that your medical plans through ARUP cover your eye exams at 100%. So if you know you just need to go get an eye exam, by all means, make sure you're doing that through the medical plan. Use their providers through the WISE network and have that done for free, all right? But inside of your vision plan, you can also have an eye exam done. You'll notice with vision benefits, like any other insurance plan, you have in-network locations and then a benefit for out-of-network. If you go in-network and you have a basic eye exam with the dilation, it's simply a $10 copayment. Okay, you would pay that at the time of service. If you go out-of-network, it works like a reimbursement. So you may pay $60 for that eye exam out-of-network, then you can turn in your receipt and be reimbursed up to $46 by EyeMed. Okay, so you can see here, you have a benefit regardless of where you go, but one is applied at the time of service and the other is going to be a reimbursement up to a maximum dollar amount. If you have a contact lens exam, that's a slightly different examination. You can see that you're allowed up to a $55 amount in network, and they do not cover any of that out of network. So if you know that's the type of eye exam you need, it is very critical you stay in network in order for you to have a benefit. That's to have your contact lens fit to your eye. There's also retinal imaging, which is covered up to $39. So that kind of all falls under the eye exam benefit with EyeMed, and each family member that you enroll in the plan has the option of having that done once every 12 months. Now, it's important, this is a little different than your other insurance benefits. Your other insurance benefits, we say everything starts over January 1st. Makes it pretty simple. On your vision benefits, they go off the date of service. So if April 13th is when I went in and had my eye exam done, I have 12 months from that date when that benefit will refresh. So very important you do that, watch that calendar closely. If you go in a couple days early, they likely can come back and say it has not been 12 months since your last eye exam and not pay that claim, okay? So do watch that, and then of course remember eye exams are free under your medical plan. So if you choose to get eyeglasses, how are those going to be covered? One thing that's important to note with EyeMed, each family member gets an allowance of $150. You have the choice of using it towards frames or towards contact lenses. It's one or the other that you get to choose. They don't ever extend that in both categories in a calendar year. Okay, so you kind of want to choose each year, where am I going to use my allowance? If I use it towards my eyeglasses, you can see my frames, they're going to pay the first $150 in network. If I want the pair that's actually $280, I would get 20% discounted off that additional $130. That's over the amount that EyeMed's paying. Okay, but if I get a pair that's $130, those are paid in full. Okay, so it's kind of your choice what type of frames, how high end you want to go with those. Then you can see, looking down the in-network column, what your co-payments would be for the lenses associated with your glasses. If you're simply getting a standard plastic lens, regardless if it's single, bifocal, or trifocal, it's simply a $25 co-payment for that lens. If you need the more involved lens, the standard progressive lens is covered at a $90 co-payment. And then there's 4 different tiers of premium progressive lenses that you can see have the higher dollar amounts associated with them. But again, they are just a fixed co-payment on those. Lenticular is a $25 co-payment. And you will notice out of network, you still have those allowances. They're going to reimburse you up to those dollar amounts. So the dollar amounts are capped, but you still have a benefit. So it's important, if you did go out of network and get your glasses, get those receipts turned in with a claim form. Lynn did bring some hard copies of those. You can also get them at the EyeMed website. You can just download them and print them off. You do want to make sure you attached an itemized receipt showing exactly what they did and what you purchased in that visit. If it's just the receipt itself with a dollar amount, they're going to send that back to you and ask for an itemized summary. Okay, they need to see what was done. You'll notice here you can get new frames every 24 months. So basically every other year I can use my allowance towards my frames. For that year in between, I can use that allowance towards towards my contacts. So you really want to get yourself on a schedule where every other year you're getting, if you wear both, you want to make sure you're doing it every other year that you're getting frames, then contacts, frames, then contacts, so that you get the benefit every year. Okay? No, the lenses, so lenses for your glasses and contact lenses are every 12 months, but the contact lenses are in lieu of frames. So I could get new lenses. If I wear glasses every day and I don't need contacts, I could get new lenses every year, and there's still a full benefit for that, every 12 months. Okay? So your lens options, once you've bought your lens, there's a whole menu of things you can do to those lenses. If you want to add a UV treatment, tint, anti-scratch, the glare, all those different things that help make your glasses more comfortable for you and prolong the life of those lenses. You will notice this is an in-network only benefit. If I went out of network to purchase my glasses, EyeMed is not going to pay anything towards those lens options. So you can see the co-payments. If I wanted to add UV tint, that's an additional $15 to my $25 lens co-payment. The tint is another $15. You can see there's anti-reflective coating that could be added. They have the transitional lenses, polarized. I know that's really popular for a lot of the people doing the outdoor sports, and several other add-ons that you can choose. But just be aware that's one area when people go out of network that they get a little frustrated with, is they did not know that there was no coverage for that outside of the EyeMed network. Okay. So again, if you prefer contacts, I can use that allowance towards my contacts. If I apply the full amount, I buy $150 worth of contacts for the year. Anything above that is a 15% discount. Okay? And you can see the out-of-network amounts that are allowed. Contacts are the one area where I think it's important for you to really use consumerism. Contacts, if you guys wear contacts, you know your box of contacts could cost $1 amount at one store and be significantly higher at a different store. You really want to shop around Just because a place is in network does not mean they have the very best retail price. Your benefits are based on retail pricing. So the $105 allowance out of network, for example, if I went to Costco or Sam's Club, my contacts may be less there than they are in network, and that $105 could potentially buy me more boxes of my contacts than the $150 did in network. Glasses, I tend to steer people to stay in the network because of all those lens options. Those can add up and become quite expensive if you go out of network and you have no coverage. But contacts, you have a lot of consumerism that you can use to find the best price. Just remember, if you go out of network to buy your contacts, that you'll want to turn in that claim form to get that reimbursement. They typically take up to no more than 14 days for you to get that in the mail. Okay. If you do have a medically necessary contact, meaning you have an eye condition that it is usually something that is surgically attached to the eye, it's actually paid in full by EyeMed. Okay, so that's a great benefit. Those are extremely expensive. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you can get contacts every 12 months. Just remember, it's contacts or frames. That's the trick each year. If you are interested in LASIK, EyeMed does have a partnership with a company called US Laser Network. You can call their 800 number or look up on their website for the locations here in the state of Utah that are convenient to your home. But in-network, it's an in-network only benefit. You would receive 15% off their retail price, or if they were running a promotion at that time, you would get an extra 5% off their lowest advertised price. So if you are a candidate or have been interested in LASIK, it may be a good place to start to see what that cost would be. So a couple things that I want to point out. When you want to use your benefits, if you want to make sure you're staying in network, you can look up at the provider locator on EyeMed.com. So that's a great website. That's where you're going to find your out-of-network reimbursement forms, but you can go right there and look up a provider based on your zip code, and then you can expand the search based on how many miles you're willing to travel. When you are on the EyeMed site, it's going to ask you which network you are enrolled in. EyeMed has a number of networks that they have throughout the country. The one that ARUP has selected is called Insight. So that's what you're going to pick is I'm on the Insight network, and then it will pull up the providers within that network. For the LASIK providers, as I mentioned, you can call their toll-free number, or you can go to EyeMedLASIK.com, and it will pull up those same providers for you. And then I did point this out, but just to remind you, the frequencies are based on your date of service, not starting over each January 1st. Put some logos on here, are probably some of the most recognizable chain stores that EyeMed works with. Lens Crafters, Target Optical, JCPenney, Sears and Pearle Vision, but they also contract with a lot of independent optometrists and ophthalmologists. So you don't have to use these chains in order to get a benefit. They have a substantial list beyond that. But these are just the most easy to throw up on a slide to have some recognition. So I want to give you an example of what a purchase of glasses would look like with and without insurance, okay? So your first column you'll see is with my EyeMed benefits, and then the second is going to be without insurance. The first one is I'm going to have my eye exam done. In this example, I'm going to pay a $10 copayment. Many of you can do that for $0 if you're on the medical plans. If I go outside, or if I don't have insurance, an eye exam's right around $106, depending on where I have that done. My frames, I may choose a pair that's $163. EyeMed's going to pay the first $150 of those in full. On that remaining $13, I'm going to get a 20% discount. So that reduces it even further to my cost towards the frames being $10.40 with my insurance. Without insurance, I'm paying that full $163. There's no discount or allowance paid. For my lenses, I'm getting my $25 copayment, and then I'm going to add UV treatment and scratch coating. Each are an additional $15 copayment So my lens are gonna total $55. For those identical lenses and treatments, without insurance, it's about $126. So you can see at the end of the day, my glasses with insurance were about $75.40, and without the insurance, it's closer to $400. And again, we could probably make that even $65 if you did your eye exam through the medical plan. But it's about an 81% savings in out-of-pocket costs. And the premiums for the vision are very, very inexpensive. I'm sure you guys have seen those. It's literally like for a family, Lynn, I think it's like $8 a paycheck or something like that. So it's very, very minimal, and it comes out pre-tax, but it's a benefit that you have to actually go and use in order to get the benefit from it. You don't want to just buy vision insurance and ignore it. It's something you want to actively be using in order to get the savings on your hardware, your contacts, and your glasses. So a couple things just to give you some little helpful hints how to use this benefit. If you are an individual who likes to have contacts and glasses and you actually want to buy both in the same calendar year, the best way to maximize your benefits is to use your allowance towards your contacts. Buy the $150, use that full allowance towards contacts. Then EyeMed will give you 20% off on your purchase of your glasses, okay? Also, if you needed to get a complete new pair of glasses, they would give you a 40%. Okay, so if I only needed new lenses, they'll give me the 20%, but if I actually needed a full pair, maybe I broke my glasses and it hasn't been a full 24 months, they would give you a 40% discount on an entirely new pair of frames and lenses. Okay, and then always be sure to shop around. As I mentioned, vision benefits are based on retail pricing, and that can fluctuate significantly depending on where you're going. Don't have the misconception that just because I'm in network, it's the best price. And there's certainly nothing wrong with telling an in-network provider, I can get this exact same frame or box of contacts at another location for this price, and they will work with you in those situations. So you really do want to make sure you have that knowledge as you're making these purchases. Okay, questions on that? Yes.
Yeah, if I use like my scenic, my medical insurance to do like my eye exam for like my frames or whatever, and then can I still use EyeMed just specifically for like a contact exam?
Yes, absolutely. Those two don't cross each other, so you could have an eye exam under each one each year and not have any problem. You would obviously just pay for the one that you have through EyeMed.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. Yes, sir.
Is the benefit for also K?
For
I think there's a night contact. The children usually wear at night. It's called also K.
oh, I am not familiar with that. If it's not named specifically on your benefit summary, you can call the EyeMed customer service number on your handout, and they would likely be able to give you more information on that. But it's not I apologize, it's not something I'm familiar with at all. Yes.
So this is a new company this year though, right?
You know, it's interesting. We did make a change January 1st. You guys used to be with Humana for your vision, but Humana rented EyeMed. So you still had EyeMed, but you had a Humana name slapped over it. So we just cut out the middleman January 1st and went direct to EyeMed to keep premiums down and to improve the quality of service.
So are the dates still, or did this one start over in January? That's what I was.
It actually started fresh January 1st for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, because we cut out Humana, it started everyone over. Yeah, so if you thought you were still in your 24 months, that all started over January 1st for everybody. Started clean.
Are we supposed to get like a card or something like that?
You should have a card. If you don't, you can let Lynn or anyone in the HR team know and they can get you one reordered. However, if you do go in network, Those providers have the ability to look you up in the EyeMed system with your information, but it's always nice to have a wallet card showing you have the benefits. Sorry, I told Lynn that vision's about a 5-minute topic that I was gonna try to stretch as long as possible for you guys, and I'm honestly happy to take as many questions as you'd like. This is a great benefit, and you wanna make sure you're using it appropriately. Yes?
Recommendations for frames. I had to buy 3 sets of frames last year for my son, who breaks things apparently. So recommendations,
Goggles, how about the wraparound goggles with the strap?
prescription goggles.
Yeah, they do make them, but,
Is that a benefit?
no. But they, you can, if you have FSA dollars, you can do it through FSA. But, you know, what they will do, again, they will do that full 40% discount if you need to replace a full pair of glasses. Not gonna hold you to that allowance. So in that circumstance where you have a younger child who may be breaking them on a regular
Older
basis.
child.
Oh. Sorry, it's kind of like when my kids kept losing their retainers, you kind of just grin and bear it, and eventually they grow out of it, but maybe not. It's not always the case. But, yeah, when they get broken, EyeMed will do that. They'll give you a full new pair, but you only get the 40% discount if you're not eligible for a new allowance.
Okay, thank you.
We can use our FSA account, please?
Yeah, so the amounts that you are responsible for paying, for example, on the claim that I showed you for, what you would pay with or without insurance, you would actually be able to pay that $75, with your FSA money. So anything medical, dental, or vision related is eligible. Anything else? Lynn, anything else you would like me to touch on?
We're good.
All right, well, thank you very much. Hope you all have a great weekend.